Greetings, South Carolina. My name is Zoe Warren. I'm from Lexington County. I don't know if you guys heard about the Freedom Caucus getting a loyalty oath put forth to them by the House Republican Caucus. Well, our county passed the first censure of the House Republican Caucus for that loyalty pledge. We denounced the language of it, and we advised them that we will have them signing an oath to abide, comply with, and not shipwreck policies that would accomplish the South Carolina Republican Party platform. Amen? Real quickly, I want you guys to know that our government is completely occupied. It's occupied by an enemy aggressor. And so that means we have to rally our troops. You know what you do if you're occupied and you don't have an army that's going to help you fight? You form little militias. Not in order to fight against the government, but to protect your community, right? We need to be caucusing together in our communities. That's what this is really all about. Reorganization of the party is about caucusing in your community to protect yourselves from tyranny. Amen? My family and I are missionaries. We went to Pakistan in 2015, the Philippines in 2017, where the Lord moved me in this ministry. Government is a ministry. Government's his idea, okay? And so what I want to talk to you about right now is a power that's been missing, because I was asking, what do I need to do, Lord? What is it? And Dan Schultz was singing my song up here. Truly, I haven't listened to his precinct strategy, but he was singing the song that the Lord showed me. The Lord connected me with people in Utah, in Washington State, places where the caucus is active and working, and they have trained me to what is missing in our system. And so right now we're going to repair our system. You guys ready? Okay. This is the power of the precinct delegation. Okay, slide 2. Bing. All right. So we have a problem in South Carolina politics. We're the bluest red state in the union. We're an abortion destination now, and it's reported that we've had a 50% increase in abortions in South Carolina. Our primaries are still open. We've had Republican policies put forth by conservative Republicans, and those policies are shipwrecked. They weren't shipwrecked by Democrats, but by fellow Republicans. We have an entire wing of the Republican Party in South Carolina who have made it their mission to bind our most conservative electeds to an oath, pledging their loyalty to not help anyone campaign against the same incumbents who shipwrecked their policies, and lobby against our Republican platform from their exalted positions, ones that we gave to them. We gave it to them by providing for them money, energy, time, resources, and our very name, the Republican name. A free government. This is James Wilson. He was a Pennsylvania delegate to the Constitutional Convention. He signed the Declaration of Independence. He was an associate justice of the Supreme Court of the United States from 1789 to 1798. And he says, a free government has often been compared to a pyramid. It's laid on the broad basis of the people. Its powers gradually rise until they end in the most permanent of all forms. When you examine all of its parts, they will invariably be found to preserve that essential mark of free governments, which is a chain of connection with the people. We got it upside down, don't we? This is what it looks like now with our federal bureaucracy. We got agencies writing policies with the force of law. They don't even have to go to the legislatures. Doesn't have to go to Congress. The FBI, BLM, all those alphabet agencies can write policy with the force of law, so it's wrong. We're wrong. Wilson's pyramid is upside down, and so we need to put an end to that. We need a whip that will hold our electeds accountable and overcome the power of incumbency and name recognition. Amen? Amen. It's time for us to elect candidates who will uphold the mission of the South Carolina Republican Party. That mission is to what? Let's say it with me, guys. Promote our platform and elect candidates who will support it. Not elect candidates that will shipwreck the policies that would accomplish it. Amen? Well, how do we do that, Zoe? Well, I'm glad you asked. The power of the precinct delegation. Okay, we're going to accomplish our mission by wielding the power of the precinct delegation. I propose that we focus heavily on electing delegates in our precincts. I know we got to have precinct committeemen. Okay, I know executive committeemen, but we need delegates, guys. We need delegates by the truckload. Do you guys know what a precinct is? Anybody who doesn't know what a precinct is? All right, I'll skip this slide. Who doesn't know what a delegate is? Okay, I'll skip this slide. Now, what does a delegate do after convention? After convention, what do they do? Stay involved, recruit. Okay, now, we have been doing that, right? But we don't have enough delegates, number one. Number two, I don't think that we've been doing it with a strategy that's going to help us destroy the power of name recognition and incumbency, because they're buying their support through policies they get passed in their districts. So I want to show you how. We need connected control. Okay, so since I skipped a bunch of stuff, let me get in this one. After convention, delegates are critical to direct representation. Without the precinct delegation, demagogues and con men will rise to power, and they'll use all forms of deception and coercion to maintain their position and concentrate power to themselves. The precinct delegation they act as a whip, and they have connected control to ensure that their elected representatives maintain the stewardship we gave them. The precinct delegation is an impediment to despotism. It's a balance of the power of incumbency and name recognition, and it provides an infrastructure for holding our electeds accountable to the platform and for our local door-knocking campaign during the primaries. In the current system, anyone can run as a Republican, right? They can buy name recognition. They just spend about $1 million. All you gotta do is show up with $1 million. The precinct delegation is an infrastructure to destroy the power of incumbency and name recognition. The governing are certainly not gonna whip themselves into right behavior, right? So how do those delegates maintain connected control? Now, does everybody know what a caucus is? Who doesn't know what a caucus is? Okay, great. A caucus is a meeting of supporters or members of a specific political party or movement. The late Middlebury College history professor, William Harris, he researched the history of the word caucus, and he concluded that it's the derivative of an old Algonquin Native American word, caucasu or caucasu, which meant to counsel or gather in council. In William's opinion, caucus is the only truly American contribution to the political lexicon. It comes from the Native Americans. The Native Americans would send delegates from their communities that would assemble in councils of fire to discuss matters that concern the larger community of allied tribes. The caucus in a convention-style election nominate candidates for the ballot through trusted neighborhood delegates. I think that's what Dan was kind of showing us. Ours doesn't really work that way, okay? But theirs does. So I got trained by some folks who are in those systems so we can see how we can use our system to actually destroy the power of incumbency and name recognition. What happens is these neighbors, they meet in groups and they select delegates who vet candidates to run for office. Delegates get to meet the candidates face to face. Candidates for office actually must convince delegates in their system to be there to get support, to even get on the ballot as a Republican. That doesn't happen here, right? If you got $1 million, you can run as a Republican. There, you got to get support of the delegates in the precincts to a certain threshold in order to be the candidate on the ballot. We don't have that power here, but we can get our mind right and use the same power that they have there. That's what I want to propose to you today. It produces a multi-tier incentive. Candidates must maintain the good graces of neighborhood delegates, and after the elections, they have to maintain the trust of those delegates. See, activists at the local level are incentivized to participate, to learn the system of government, and enjoy personal influence over their elected officials, directly or through their neighborhood delegates. And they enjoy connected control this way. Well, Zoe, can you give us a quick example? Because you're running out of time. Great. 1 minute. Great question. I'm glad you asked. Let's say you're in a district where a Republican incumbent has voted to grow government, kill babies in the womb, raise taxes, you name the violation of our platform. It's the job of the precinct delegation to hold that elected who represents their district accountable. You call them to the carpet to answer for their record. If they don't answer or answer insufficiently, then you censure them in your precinct. It doesn't matter even if the county party accepts if you're not able to overturn your county party, it doesn't even matter if the county party accepts the censure in your precinct, okay? That precinct would take some of your delegates to other precincts in that elected's district to censure their representative in the entire district that they're over, okay? And so now what you've done is you're building a preponderance of evidence that the incumbent, who has name recognition and is buying votes using the government, that you can show that he's not supporting the Republican Party platform. So you're creating a delegate coalition in those other precincts as well. Why? Because your primary contender needs a door-knocking unit. They need a campaign against the incumbent. And so you got all the evidence, You got the infrastructure for the door knock campaign, and door knocking is 35% more effective at turning people than any other means of campaigning. It produces the clearest path to direct representation and a chain of connection with the people. So let's calculate real quick. I got about 30 seconds. Generally speaking, the max you will ever see of electors in a precinct is 1,500 eligible voters, because in South Carolina, once it gets to 750, it's marked to be divided, because in the law, you can only have 750 electors per precinct. So at very max, you'll probably have about 1,500 eligible voters. In a general election, max turnout in that scenario is about 900. In a primary, the max turnout will be about 300. The average for a primary is about 150 people in a precinct going to the polls, okay? So if you got 5 or 10 delegates or more in your precinct, and you got a moderate, who said that moderate? You got a moderate who is not doing the Republican Party platform, shipwrecking policies that would have accomplished the platform, then you got a massive door knock team right there in the community, which is better than hiring a bunch of people who are not from your community to come in and do it. Because I'm a neighbor. Hey, I got that Volvo down the street. Yeah, you've seen me working on it in my yard. I know you're a Republican. I'm a Republican too. We got somebody we got to get out of here, and I need your support. So because of this, we're able to destroy the power of an incumbency and name recognition. They won't be able to buy enough votes in their precincts because we're in their precincts as their door knock campaign. This has been destroyed from the consciousness of the South Carolina Republican Party. We used to have a caucus system here. Okay? They have moved to the primary system, which was created by our philosophical opponents who do not like the American form of republic. They like a Platonic republic, where the patricians are on the top and the plebeians are on the bottom. We make the rules, you just do what you're told. Because we're doing it because we're selfless for the greater good. If you just do what I tell you, everything would work well for you, right? That's how they think. But we are the American form of republic, and if we don't caucus, if we don't get together, then that crown will stay on their head. But I say it's time to take that crown that's been placed upon the aristocracy in South Carolina, who created this top-down party structure, which has made South Carolina the most liberal, conservative supermajority probably in the history of our country. We're going to take that crown and dash it upon the rocks and scatter it to the people from whom it belongs. Amen? Shoot me an email. I have a longer presentation about what is a Republican, and this is part of it, so I would love to share that with you. Shoot me an email if you want it. God bless.